In this tutorial, we will parent our objects to our rig so that the rig controls the objects. Now, the rig is kind of complicated right now, so we need to simplify it. So we're only going to keep the layers that have these bones on them, the bones that we're going to be using, open. So over here in your end panel, if your end panel isn't open, just hit the end key on your keyboard. Next, go down to where it says rig layers. If it's closed like this, and just click it down. Next, we want to select all the layers that we don't want on. So FK is one, the tweak. So all the ones where you see FK and tweak, cut those off. Now our rig is a bit simpler. Next, what we need to do is hit Control Tab to go to here we go. So we're at Control Tab and go to pose mode. Now your rig will not have this color on it. That's because if I get rid of this, I basically added a bone group to that so that we can see the rig better. And so what you do to add a bone group is you A to deselect any bone you have selected and select all your bones and go to this armature rig layer here, and under where it says bone groups, click plus and double click the word group. We're going to name this group visible rig. Alright, next we're going to click default colors and we're going to change it to theme 9, and then we're going to click assign, and now you see that our rig is highlighted yellow. Now we want to because right now these bones that you see here, these actually do not deform the mesh. The bones that deform the mesh are being controlled by these bones. So what we need to do is find the bones that actually control the mesh. And we do that over here in our rig layers here. So we have two stacks of layers, the first stack and the second stack. What we need to do is go to the second stack, and right on the 6th stack at the bottom, I want to hold shift and click that stack, and now you see that these green bones appear. These are the bones that actually control our character. And so now what we need to do is we need to start parenting our meshes to this rig, and then we can weight paint them accordingly. But first we need to select these bones up top here, and we need to go to the doggy bone layer, and we need to turn off deform. Deform won't be automatically off for you all. It is for me because I already turned off the deform on them. But to do that, remember to just go to the doggy bone layer, and where it says deform, just uncheck that. Go do that for all these bones here. Same thing with these bones right above the eyes. Turn off deform for all of these bones, every bone that I'm selecting. There you go. Once that is done, we can start parenting our objects to our rig here. So first we want to select the shirt, so that way it can be in object mode for something. Then we're going to hit Alt H to unhide our jacket. And we're going to parent that first. So select the jacket, then select a bone on the rig and Control P, and with automatic weights. Remember to select the object that you want parented to the rig and then the rig itself. So we're going to do the same thing with our character here. So select the character and the bone on the rig, hit Control P, and then click with automatic weights. With automatic weights, what that basically does is it weight paints our character for us. Now select the shirt, select a bone, hit Control P with automatic weights. Select the belt, select the bone, hit Control P with automatic weights. Also, it doesn't matter what bone you select. So select the pants here, select a bone, Control P with automatic weights. Select these straps, select a bone, Control P with automatic weights. Select this pouch here, then select a bone, hit Control P with automatic weights. I'm sorry. Next, select the boots and a bone, hit Control P with automatic weights. Select these gauntlets, select a bone, hit Control P with automatic weights. Select these straps, select a bone, whoops. Hit Control P with automatic weights. Select the gloves, select a bone, hit Control P with automatic weights. And there we go. So now if I select this bone here and I hit G to grab, right, you'll see that now the bone controls this part of my character. And I can move it around. So if you're in the middle of grabbing a bone or moving a bone with G, what you can do is right click and that'll stop that movement and place it back where it was. Or if you hit G, grab it, and you put it, if you left click and leave it somewhere, you can just hit Alt G and that'll put it back in its position. Same thing if you rotate the hand up and you want it to be back in its original position, just hit Alt R. Same thing for scaling. If you scale the bones up and you want it to be back in its original scaling, just hit Alt S. So there we go. Now, so this bone right here is what you call an IK bone. So basically what that means is this bone controls the entire arm. Now FK bone, so if I were to switch this to FK instead of IK, then what that basically means is that now this is controlled. So if I turn the switch from IK to FK, this is the IK FK switch. So if I switch that to FK now and I rotate it, you see that these bones are controlled by this one. So that now one bone doesn't control the entire arm. Now the arm is controlled by this bone, and this bone. Now, me personally, I prefer to work with IK because I'd rather have it be controlled by one bone. It's easier to animate. So I'm going to switch that back to IK. I'm going to A to deselect everything and then A to select everything again. I'm going to hit Alt R for rotate. And then I'm going to select, I'm going to turn off FK and turn on IK. And I'm going to select my IK bone here, and I'm going to turn the IK back up. Now, if you don't like the stretchiness that you get with this, okay. All right. So if you don't like the stretchiness you get with the IK, you could turn the stretchiness off by going down here to where it says IK stretch. Just turn that to 0. And now when you move it, you'll see it doesn't stretch like it did. I like to keep it on because it gives a good squash and stretch effect when you're animating. So the same thing basically for the feet, except in the feet controls we have additional foot rotator that basically, if you hit R to rotate, it basically rotates the foot up on its tippy toe like a normal person does when you're walking. Now, FK, when you switch this to FK, however, so if I go to the IK FK switch, switches to FK, and then go to the feet bones, turn off IK and turn on FK. Right. So if I turn on FK, we don't get that. We don't get that anymore. We have to manually control the foot. So yeah. So I prefer to work with IK again because it's just easier to animate with, to be perfectly honest. So I'm going to turn on IK again. I'm going to turn off FK, and I'm going to grab this foot bone and switch the IK FK to 0 so that it's just IK. The body, these bones right here, this bone right here, if you are to rotate, you basically see it rotates the entire body. Now, one thing with IK is that basically these hands, the hands are controlled by this bone, but they don't follow any other bone. So if I are to rotate this over here, you'll see how this arm is stretching and these hands are staying in place. That's because those are on FK. So if you don't like that, that's what IK is good for, but I still prefer to use FK because it's just simple as moving, just clicking this bone and moving it, and then you see you fixed it. So it's Alt G and Alt R. Now, one more thing we might want to do is we want to parent the hair to the rig. So select the hair, Control P with automatic weights. And it's okay. So another thing about the arm, if you hit G to grab, and let's say you don't like this elbow position, this bone right here, if you hit R twice, you can change the position of the elbow. This is not like the Rigify rig where there's actually an elbow bone over here that you click and it moves it like that. It's actually moved by a forearm bone here. Now with the fingers, let me show you. The fingers work, they can work individually or you can move them separately. So if I hit R to rotate, you'll see that these fingers, if I rotate from this bone, these fingers will follow. If you want to individually move the fingers joints, you can just hit G to grab these, and you can just move these into place like so. And if you want, so like if you want to make a fist pose, this bone right here actually, if you hit R to rotate, it'll rotate the hand in a realistic fashion like so, you see here. And so what you can do with that is you can just hit R to rotate on these bones, and then same thing over here, R to rotate, same thing over here, whoops, same thing over here, and then same thing over here. And now you see we've very easily made a fist. And then to close the fist up, you can select this bone here, hit R to rotate, and you can select this bone here, hit R to rotate, and that will close off the fist. So in very few steps you can get very complex poses with this rig and have your character look nice. If we hide the fingers, you can see how good of a fist this is. Okay, so that's how the rig works. Let's select everything, hit Alt R, G, S. Okay, so that's how the body of the rig works. Well, you have these controls here that if you hit G to grab, you can like move the figure in all kind of cartoony ways. Same thing here, here, here. You can also grab this bone, do the same thing with the whole upper body. You can grab this bone, Do the same thing with the whole lower body. This bone controls the entire upper body, except for the hands, of course, because of what I explained earlier. These are the shoulder bones, and that's about it for this rig. For the body of it, anyway. Now we go to the face. So for the face, we want to select the hood, hit H to hide it, so that we can get into these bones here. Now we want to, just so you can see what I'm doing in the face better, deselect these deformed bones for a minute. We did need them so that we could turn off those deformation bones. But right now, since I'm showing you what the rig does, we don't need those open right now. So what we can do, because we're not using those bones, we can actually select all these bones and hit H to hide them. Okay, now, so you have two face layers. You have face primary, and face secondary. Or secondary, primary, and then face. So, face basically are your basic face controls. You have this bone right here. For G to grab it, it's supposed to move the eyes. We haven't parented the eyes yet, and we'll do that in the next tutorial. But yeah, these control the eyes. These bones right here control the ears. This bone controls the nose. You can do all types of things with the nose. This one actually controls the tongue. Like so, if I hit this bone, and if I right click this bone to select it, and I hit R, and then R again, open it, you can see I open my mouth. You can open the mouth. And then this tongue bone here, I don't know if you can see it, but you see there, you can see it's controlling the tongue. So that's the face, that's just the regular face. Now we select face primary. Face primary is, so you can select this bone, hit G, and that'll close the eyelid. Now you see you have a problem here, which we can fix right now. It's not going far enough out so that it closes the eye completely. So what we can do is select our mesh here. Go to the modifiers tab, go to where it says armature, just click this box and then click the upside down triangle, don't mind that, and then hit tab, and now basically we enabled so if we move a bone in object or pose mode of the rig, we can go in the edit mode and it'll have our same transform there. So what we need to do is we select a vertex here and we need to hit G to grab and just move it out. Just move it out. Select the vertex here. Go in there, just hit G. We just want to move these vertices out so that I'm trying to select the right vertice. So let's see. Let's turn this off real quick so we can see what vertices we're actually selecting. Okay. Alright, so what we need to do is select this vertex here. Let's hit G, let's move this out. Now let's tab in the edit mode. So, okay, so there we go. But it's kind of weird. We moved it out a bit much. So we can move the whole eyelid out just a little bit. And then we can move that back so that it's not so weird. But we lose that. So we're just spend a little bit more time here editing the face. Alright. I forgot to tell you all. When you don't have the mirror modifier anymore, and so what you need to do is you need to go to your mirror options over here and check x-axis mirror. So mirror options are right below shading and UVs and your T panel. So if you don't have it open, just hit T and then you can click x-axis mirror and that'll enable you to still edit as if the mirror modifier was still there. So let's just move that one out, see what happens. Getting a lot of freaky deformation. Okay, that's probably fixed it. Okay, there we go. So we're back to it being normal. So now we can just move this out. Let's move this out. And we can move the eyelid out. Okay, so we almost got it. We almost got it. That deformation is kind of ugly, but okay, that's better. So yeah, just move those vertices out and we can fix that problem. So there we go. Select that, hit Alt G. So those bones, alright, so I have to get back to the rest of the rig. So these bones control the eyebrows. So you see eyebrows moving. Now this is a weight painting issue because these eyebrow bones are controlling some of the hair. That's okay. We're going to fix those problems in the next tutorial. I'm just showing you what the rig does in this one. These bones control the side of the nose. These bones control the cheeks, so you can have them chew something over here, you know, have them do different stuff like that. These controls are what individually control the mouth. So you see, I can, you know, give them, you know, expressions like a snarl, or I can make them smile, you know. And yeah, so this facial rig is really good if you want to do lip syncing and stuff like that. Now if I turn off face secondary, these are basically all the other little bones that help control the face. So we got a bone here, we have bones on top of the nose, we have bones on top of the ears, we have all kinds of bones once you go to the rig secondary. But we don't really use the bones in the rig secondary, so we just turn those off, and now we just have the primary facial rig. And that is all we need. So that's pretty much a rundown of the rig. So let me select the hair and hit Alt H so we can unhide the jacket. So now what we need to do in the next tutorial is we're going to fix some issues with the rig as far as weight painting, because just going through the rig I can see, like if I hit this, you'll see the hood is moving. We don't want that to move, so we'll fix that in the next tutorial.